membrane, the wall of the class is related to the cell membrane, and your teacher is the main component, that is nucleus, and the organelles which is present inside the cell, they are children's, they are students. Okay, so let's start the topic. First of all, I just want to tell you that cells, they are also called as the structural and functional unit of all living organism. Can you tell me, students, why we are using the term structure here? Structural means simple structure. Structure is the living organism structure. Whether we are talking about animals, plant, human beings, their body structure is made up of cells. It means from tiny to large mammals, their body structure is made up of cells. Look at this diagram here. This is the cell. Okay, the group of cells together, they are making the structure of the organism similar to the wall. Like in the wall, bricks are going to make the structure. Similarly, the cells are going to make the structure of the organism. But students, the cells in plants and animals, they are different. This is the structure of a plant cell, and this is going to make the plant body. And this is the structure of animal cell, and this is going to make the human body. Now you will say that, ma'am, why you are saying that we are made up of animal cell? Students, we are humans in biology. Human beings and animals, they are considered in the animal kingdom. So yes, this is the reason why our body is made up of animal cells. Just have a look on another term, that is functional. Functional means body functions. Different body functions keep performing in our day, in our inside the body. So can you tell me the example of some of the functions that is taking place in your body? Students, any guesses? Yes, these are nutrition, by which you take in food, respiration, take in air and giving out carbon dioxide. Excretion is the removal of toxic substances from your body. Reproduction is basically the production of new cells on the new individual. So these are some of the life functions which taking place inside the body of living organism. Students, if we take the example of unicellular organism are those microorganisms. Those organisms which we cannot see them with our naked eyes. Okay, we can only see them with the help of microscope. Can you tell me the example of some of the microorganism? Mhm. Bacteria. Bacteria is there, amoeba is there. These are microorganisms. These are unicellular. It means that body is made up of single cell. And yes, this single cell have the ability to perform all the life functions. Here you see in this picture, this is the structure of the amoeba. Look here, this is the body of the amoeba. This is taking food, that is, it is taking nutrition. It is also can also perform ingestion. It can also perform digestion. The single cell can also perform absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So look here how beautifully this single cell have the capability to perform all the life functions alone. If we take the example of multicellular organism like plants, human beings, their body functions is basically organized by the group of cells. They are specialized, these cells are specialized to perform different functions. Some cells are specialized to perform the process of respiration. Some cells are specialized to perform the process of nutrition. Some are going to perform the process of digestion. So here, just because our body is made up of many cells, it is not possible for a single cell to carry all the life process. So for that, different types of cells, they are jointed together to perform a function. So this is the case of multicellular organism. We can take the real life example that in a factory, different departments are allotted to perform different functions for finance, for accounts, different things. So each department is controlled by a group of people. So similarly, our body cells in multicellular organism, they are allotted to perform different functions. Next, have a look on the another term we are using for cell. That is, cell are also known as the building block of living organism. Building blocks. Students, tell me why we are saying cell as the building blocks. Any idea? Simple. Anything that is making a building. Okay. Cells are the making, these are the brick. Cells are the brick of our body. They are making our body. They are making our body building. So here you see, this is the case of the animal and this is the case of the plant. Look here, this single cell is going together to make a tissue. Group of tissue is going to make an organ. Example is liver. And the liver with different types of organs is going to make a system, that is digestive system. And finally, an organism is produced by the collection of different types of organ system, by the collection of digestive system, reproductive system, circulatory system, respiratory system, etc. This is the case of plant. Plant, the cells are collected to form tissues. Group of tissues going to form an organ. Example is leaf. And group of organs going to form organ system, like group of leaves, stems, and branches. They are making organ system. And finally, an organism is produced. That is the plant body. So look here how the cell is actually building the body of an living organism. We can take the example, simple example, students, babies, small babies, they are playing, suppose the baby is playing with colorful blocks. What he will do? He will first pick it up an individual colorful block. What he will do after that? Slowly he will stack one by one. And eventually the baby is able to make a tower, a house, or even a castle. Just like here in this picture. The baby is going to collect individual blocks and finally he or she will be able to make a house. Clear? I'm sure that you got this point. Okay, let's move to the characteristics of cell. Cells are very important part of the life, so it is very important to have a look on the characteristics of cell. The first point, that is, the cell can replicate itself independently. Replicate means making a copy, duplicate copy. So replication here is actually the cells when they are going to make the copy of itself. So yes, cell has the ability to perform to the process of replication individually. And this process is done by the process of cell division. Cell division means when the cell is going to divide into more cells. Here, this is the example of red blood cells. Look here how beautifully the cell is dividing into two cells. This is how they are going to increase their number. And this is the diagrammatic view. This is the microscopic view how the cells are dividing in our body. It is actually started place by the division of the nucleus, followed by the division of the cytoplasm, and ultimately two cells are produced. Clear with the topic? Next, have a look on the second characteristics of cell, that is, cells can grow and respond to stimuli. Yes, cells have the ability to grow. Growth means increase in size and even increase in number. Growth is very important. It is going to make the organism increase in size and it is going to repair of old tissues. In unicellular organism, growth occurs in the body of a single cell. That is an amoeba. A single cell have the ability to grow in size before it divides. And in multicellular organism, what happens? The cells, they keep on dividing every time to increase the mass of an organism, to increase the size of an organism. And yes, it was also helpful for the repairing of tissues, old tissues. Look here in this diagram, how the baby grows into an individual, into an adult, because the baby cells are dividing regularly. So mammal development or human development takes place from a single zygote. Zygote is a single cell and it keeps on dividing every time and ultimately an individual is produced. So this is how the growth happens by the cell. And yes, the second term, that is a stimuli, respond to stimuli. The cells, they can respond to stimuli. Respond is basically the reaction of an organism or the reaction of a cell against any stimulus. Stimulus is basically the change in the environment, any kind of change. So stimuli is the change occurs despite different types of conditions which is taking place inside the environment. Let's have a look on this. This is actually the reaction of a plant against this sunlight. So here, sunlight acts as a stimulus. This is external stimulus and to which the plant body bends. The plant, it bends towards the light. So we can take different examples of a stimulus: heat, temperature, pH. These are the stimulus by which an organism or a cell act. Next, characteristics of cell, that is cells use energy, metabolism, and maintain balance, that is homeostasis. Yes, of course, cells uses energy and this energy is used to perform different life functions. What happen in metabolism? Metabolism is basically there are certain kinds of reactions which is taking place inside the body to produce energy. What happened in this? The food, that is glucose, which is actually manufactured in your body, it is broken down to release energy. And also, this metabolism is also helpful for the manufacturing of proteins and DNA, and of course, for the excretion of waste products. Clear? So basically, what will happen? Cell, they use energy by the metabolism. Look here, what happens actually during the process of metabolism. This is the molecular formula of glucose, C6H12O6. And glucose in presence of oxygen is broken down into carbon dioxide and water and release energy in the form of ATP, where inside the cell powerhouse. Powerhouse is actually the special organelle which is involved for the energy production, that is mitochondria. So this mitochondria also known as powerhouse of cell because it is generating energy in the form of ATP. ATP is actually the energy. The full form of ATP here is adenosine triphosphate. This is the full form of ATP here. So yes, this energy is used to perform all the life functions. If we have to perform movement, if we have to perform any kind of reactions, energy is required and it is produced by the cells. Next, it maintains internal balance. Yes, cell have the ability that it can maintain its internal environment. Homeostasis is what? It is actually the internal environment. The cell is going to maintain its stable environment despite changes outside. What kind of changes? pH changes, water and salt levels, and gas changes, so oxygen and CO2, temperature changes. These are actually the changes which occurs outside the body. So cells have the ability to maintain its stable environment inside. This is one of the example that how cell perform the process of homeostasis. Look here. This person is actually what happening with this person? This person is sweating. So students, when you go out, suppose if you are playing football under the sun, what happens to your body? Your body starts sweating. So this is actually your body is activating cooling mechanism. And this is the property of a cell, that it is performing the homeostasis. I'm sure that you got the point. Students, that was all about the concept. Okay. Before ending, I just want to show the recap. Let's have a recap on what we have studied. First point, we have studied that cell is the structural and functional unit of living organism. Yes, of course, it is going to make our body, it is going to perform the life functions. Second, it is known as the building blocks of life. Yes, the cell is going to make our body just like bricks are making bottle. Next, cells can replicate independently, can make a copy. Next, they can grow and respond to stimuli and perform metabolism. And the last one, that cell is going to maintain the homeostasis. Students, I'm sure that you got the point. Now it's time to perform some questions, time to do some questions related with the chapter. Are you ready, students? Take out your note and you can write these questions and answer. I will give you time and you will answer. You can discuss it with your teacher if you are not clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask to your teacher. Question number one. It's a super hot day and you are sweating like a cold cola bottle. Which process is saving you from becoming toast? Students, can you tell me the answer? I'm just giving you 1 minute. Have a look. Very simple question. Ready? Okay, so your answer is actually what? Tell me the answer. It is homeostasis. So here your cell is actually performing the homeostasis. So hot day, what will happen? Your body will start sweating and it will be going to activate the cooling mechanism. So this is the answer of homeostasis. It is not metabolism. Metabolism is different chemical reactions taking place. Osmosis is basically the movement of substances in and out of cell. This is also wrong answer. Dance moves, no, of course not. Let's move to the other question. Cells are called the building blocks of life. Why? Why we are calling cells as the building blocks of life? Your options are because they are square, because they are found in Legos, because many cells build up tissues and organs, because they look cool under a microscope. Tell me the correct answer, students. Again, I'm giving you 1 minute to answer this question. Can you eliminate the wrong answers, students? Only one answer is correct here. Look, option A. Because they are square. Is it possible? No. Says I told you that cell of different shapes and sizes. So this is not the option. Because they are found in Legos. Legos is actually they are the colorful blocks. They are found in Legos. No, Legos is what? It is a non-living structure. So it is not found in cells. Next, because many cells builds up tissues and organs. Yes, this is the correct answer, that because many cells builds up tissues and organs. This is the reason why we call them as the building blocks of life. Option D, because they look cool under a microscope. No. Next. All right, student. Now it's time to have fun and fast challenge. True, false. Look at the statements on the screen. Your first statement is a cell cannot replicate on its own. Tell me, is it true or false? You can write in your notebook. I'm sure that most of you got the answer. Is it true or false? Of course, it is false because it is the one of the major property of the cell that it can replicate. It can make the copy. Understood? Next statement. All living organisms are made up of cell. This is true or not? I'm giving you 30 seconds. Do it fast. Good to go. What is the answer here? It is true. Yes, I told you in the beginning that every living organism, whether we are talking about plants, animals, human beings, they all are made up of cells. Next statement, homeostasis means responding to changes in the environment. This is what homeostasis means. Tell me, is it true or false? Again, I'm giving you 30 seconds to answer this question. Do it fast. Start. And your answer is true. Yes, of course. Homeostasis is basically the responding to changes in the environment. I told you different types of changes takes place in the environment. Temperature changes, pH, salt level changes in your body taking place. So this is controlled by the homeostasis mechanism of our cells. Now, students, I'm giving you a mystery. You have to solve it. You can discuss with your peers, with your mentors, with your teachers, and answer it. Okay? Riddle. I built all bodies, big or small. Without me, there's nothing at all. I live, grow, and even divide. What am I? Where life does reside? Tell me the correct answer. This is very easy, students. You can do it. I'm sure that you are clear with the topic. It's a very simple answer. Write in your notebook. Okay, so tell me the answer. The answer is cell, of course. Look here in this riddle, students. These are the actual characteristic of cells. Cells can make the body. Cells, without the cells, it is not possible. There's nothing at all. Cells can grow, divide. So, of course, this is the cell. Next riddle. I sense the light. I feel the sound. I help the cell look around. A sudden change, I take the cue and send a signal straight to you. Which cell trait is this? Trait means which is the uh, characteristic of cell. Tell me one of the characteristic which is related with this riddle. Look at the statement carefully. A sudden change. Here it is in the very common word. At a sudden change. When your body meets with sudden change, what happens actually? It is going to perform different types of activities, is going to maintain internal balance. So the answer is actually respond to stimuli. The cell is going to respond to stimulus, changes in environment. I have given you the example of a plant, how plant body, bend towards the sunlight. The sunlight is actually a stimulus, and it is a kind of sudden change. Clear? Next, I copy myself when it's time to grow or heal your wounds when cells run low. Divisions my trick. It's what I do. One becomes two and then a few. What process am I showing? The clue is here, student. See, here it is written divisions my trick. Simple. It means that the cell can replicate. The answer is replication. That is cell division. I told you cell division is what? It is making the copy. The cells have the ability to make their own. Is it or not? By the process of cell division or the replication. Next, this is a concept match game, students. You have to match the cell functions with the correct description. First, metabolism. Tell me the correct description for this. making copies of itself, or making basic unit of life, reacting to environmental changes, chemical reactions that release energy, or maintaining internal balance. Tell me the correct answer. You can write. Metabolism means what? Chemical reactions that release energy. Okay, like breakdowns of glucose. I have shown you the diagram of how the mitochondria is involved, the release of energy in the form of ATP. So this is the example of metabolism. Next, homeostasis. Tell me the correct answer for homeostasis. Homeostasis is basically maintaining internal balance. So the answer is maintaining internal balance. Next, replication. Tell me the correct answer. Tell me the correct description. Making copies of itself. Good to go to the next. Responding to stimuli. Tell me, you have only two options. You can answer it simply. You can answer it quickly, students. Tell me. Yes, reacting to environmental changes. Last, building block. Building block. Tell me, what is the correct answer? Of course, basic unit of life. We are talking about cells. Next, scenario-based question. It's a very hot day and your body starts sweating. Which process is your body using to stay cool? Metabolism or homeostasis? Why? Tell me the correct answer. Is it metabolism or homeostasis? First, tell me what is metabolism. Metabolism is actually the breakdown of things, the reactions taking place in your body that release energy. So tell me the scenario is matching with about metabolism? No, it is homeostasis. Homeostasis basically it is the property of the cell to maintain its internal balance despite any changes. So here, hot day, what happens to your body? Your body starts sweating, and it is actually your body is activating cooling mechanism. Good to go to the next. Try to answer this question, students. Imagine a robot that can respond to commands but cannot reproduce. Can we call it a cell? Why or why not? Can we call it a cell, students? Tell me. I'm giving you 1 minute to think. In this question, two characteristics of cells are mentioned here. Respond to commands, but cannot reproduce. Okay, fine. I'm sure that you got the answer. Students, this is not a cell. Okay, this is not the cell. Here it is written robot. Robot, it can respond to stimuli. Yes, it can respond to any kind of changes in the environment, but it cannot reproduce. And reproduction is one of the property of the cell, that it can grow and divide into two more cells to increase in their number. So the correct answer is that we do not call this as a cell because it is not reproducing, even if it is responding, but it is not going to perform the division, the process of reproduction. Next question, why is metabolism important for a cell? What would happen if a cell couldn't perform metabolic reactions? Tell me the answer here. I'm just giving you 1 more minute to think about this. Tell me why metabolism is important to a cell. First, go to the term metabolism. Metabolism is actually what? It is the kind of chemical reactions that are taking place in your body to release energy. And it helps us to uh, excrete different types of waste products in your body. And it is also helpful in the formation of protein and DNA. And what will happen if the cell could not perform metabolic reactions? What will happen? It will stop. Because if metabolic reactions did not take place in your body, what will happen? No proteins manufactured, the waste products built in your body, what will happen? The cell will die and ultimately an organism will die. So metabolism is very important because actually metabolism acts as a electricity in a house. Students, what happen when electricity goes off? Freezer melts, lights goes off, fans stop. What will happen? The house become unlivable. Similarly, our body become unlivable if the metabolism will not occur in our body. This is one of the most important process that takes place inside the living organism by cell. I'm sure that you are clear with the topic. That's all from my side. Meet you in the next session. And if you have any query, you can discuss it with your teacher. Thank you so much, students.